On the news tonight, FCT Area Council polls, Chairman, Independent National Electoral Commission briefs stakeholders on INEC preparation. Independent National Electoral Commission says election will not hold at the polling units without registered voters. And Muslims enjoin to exhibit trust when dealing with one another. Hello and welcome to the news at 7 on the Unity Station, NTA Channel 5, Abuja. I am Mariam George Jitubo. The increase in cancer cases across the world has remained a major public health concern. Several organizations have continued to develop initiatives to change the narrative. The latest is by the OCI Foundation in collaboration with the FCT Primary Healthcare Board and other partners by institutionalizing screening for early detection and prevention, especially cervical cancer. Hakimat Aliu examines concerted efforts to tackle the scourge through increased awareness. Global Count statistics states that 78,899 cancer-related deaths were recorded in Nigeria alone in the year 2020. Of this figure, women succumb more with breast and cervical cancers, which are responsible for more deaths than any other.
The worrisome aspect of it is, this is the only cancer, I'm speaking as a gynecologist and a gyne-oncologist, this is the only cancer that you can prevent, you can preempt.
Risk factors include like having multiple sexual partners, and then, drinking alcohol, smoking, and then having some other immunosuppressive diseases like HIV and AIDS.
The Gynecula project is an OCI-sponsored Nigerian national project for cervical cancer screening, which has the FCT as the first beneficiary. Launched by the FCT Minister of State, Ramatu Tijani Aliu.
Cervical Cancer Screening Center is unveiled for the use of man to the glory of God Almighty.
Cervical cancer is a big killer, and we are trying to make screening for cervical cancers accessible to Nigerians. We intend to make it sustainable, we intend to make it wide-reaching, and we intend to make it, like I said, affordable.
Sited in Apo Primary Health Care Facility, the OCI Foundation FCT Screening Center promotes awareness and strengthens early detection of cervical cancer, leveraging on technology to stem the tide of the disease, many of which are highly preventable or can be managed to avoid mortality if diagnosed at early stage. In Abuja, Hakimat Aliu, NTA News. Meanwhile, figures from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, as at 3rd February 2022, indicates 15 new cases of COVID-19 in the FCT. The number of confirmed cases stands at 28,232, while active cases now 407, and the number of discharged cases stands at 27,578, and 247 deaths have been recorded in the Federal Capital Territory. We now join Ifoma Ojinta for countdown to FCT Area Council elections.
Thank you, Mariam, and welcome to Countdown to FCT Area Council elections. Now, ahead of the forthcoming Area Council elections, the Federal Capital Territory Administration has organized an expanded stakeholders meeting in Abuja. Onoze Yakubu reports that at the meeting, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, briefed the FCT stakeholders on the INEC preparations for the 12th February polls.
With regard to election technology for voter accreditation, the Commission has reviewed the performance of the bimodal voter accreditation system in the recent Anambra State governorship election. Lessons learned from that election have been considered in planning for the area council election. The beavers have been configured and ready to deploy for the election. We have also made adequate arrangements for technical support and transportation to speedily respond in the unlikely event of glitches on election day. Similarly, election results will be uploaded to the INEC result viewing portal in real time when voting ends and votes are counted at the polling units on election day. The Commission is happy with the behavior of parties and candidates in the FCT. So far, there are no adverse reports of clashes between supporters of different parties and not many incidents of hate or inciting speeches as the parties and candidates canvass for votes. I commend the stakeholders for their advocacy for peaceful elections. I appeal to political parties and candidates to continue to show maturity and decorum as campaigns come to a close and election day draws nearer. The 2022 FCT Area Council election is not without its own fair share of litigations. Right now, there are 8 cases in court challenging the nomination or educational qualifications of candidates. Some of the cases are already before the Supreme Court. However, contrary to the Commission's experience in previous elections around the country, there are no conflicting judgments or court orders by courts of coordinate jurisdiction anywhere on the forthcoming election in the FCT. Let me seize this opportunity to appreciate the judiciary, particularly the FCT High Court, for standing firm to the shenanigans of forum shoppers and litigation-happy individuals who often waste precious time of the courts and INEC by litigating even the most improbable cases. You may recall that early last year, INEC succeeded in expanding voter access to polling units for the first time in 25 years, in spite of the apparent expansion of voter population and emergence of new settlements, particularly in the Federal Capital Territory. From just 562 polling units, the Commission established 2,260 units and relocated some of them from congested locations to proximate but underserved areas. We gave voters the opportunity to transfer to some of the new polling units. Unfortunately, voters did not take advantage of this opportunity as we had expected in all cases. Consequently, there are 593 polling units in the FCT without registered voters, 1,328 polling units with between 1 and 50 voters, and 546 polling units with over 1,000 registered voters. We have already informed political parties, civil society organizations, the media and security agencies at the national level about this development. The Commission has decided that no election will take place at polling units without registered voters. No materials have been produced for these units and no personnel will be deployed to them. However, voting will take place in all other polling units. For congested polling units, the Commission will deploy more than 1 BVAS to facilitate a speedy accreditation of voters on election day.
And here is the FCT Minister Muhammadu Musa Bello's contribution during the stakeholders meeting.
The meeting we held today is the first meeting in the year, and we called it an expanded security meeting, where we brought in all the 17 graded chiefs. And we reviewed 2021 and then looked at our focus for 2022. In our review, we found out that the collaborative security effort with neighboring states to the FCT has proved very effective. And this is one aspect that we intend to continue to improve upon, because that's where all the security agencies within the FCT and their counterparts in the neighboring states of Niger, Kaduna and Nasarawa and Kogi work together. So this is one of the highlights of what we have discussed. And overall also we appreciated the efforts of all the agencies, and also in spite of what happens here and there within the rural communities, we were quite satisfied with the efforts, and then we identified areas where we were going to give them additional support, and we intend to do so. And one specific challenge we noticed is the fact that as activities against bandits and criminals in the northwest continues to increase, naturally they would move into the north central, and Abuja being in the north central zone would also be eyes broad. So what do we do? So when we are now strategizing, which we have been doing since last year, to make sure that that does not happen. And it was also very clear that there is no any safe haven here within the FCT for all of these criminals. They just come in on a hit and go basis. But these are all things we are working on.
In the meantime, as the FCT INEC continues to meet with critical stakeholders ahead of the elections, the latest is the meeting with religious leaders. Recognizing religious leaders as critical stakeholders in peace building, the Administrative Secretary, FCT INEC, Waziri Zana, appealed to the clergies to speak to their followers on the need for tolerance and to allow peace prevail before, during and after the elections.
Issue of missing cards, issue of buying of cards will stop. In fact, 95%, there will be no issue of selling of voters' cards or buying of votes. Every voter must present himself by himself, not voting through proxy.
We have to talk to our people to shun away from any violence. Politics, election comes and go. We have to respect the decision of the electorate.
Equally call on INEC to once again demonstrate that, as it has been doing in recent times, that indeed it is an independent commission.
The next meeting, INEC says, will be with traditional rulers. The FCT PDP has expressed concerns over alleged security threats to the forthcoming FCT Area Council elections. This came to the fore while addressing journalists just before the flag-off of campaigns in Amak, with the appeal that no group or persons disrupts plans made by INEC to conduct a peaceful election. Director, Publicity, PDP Chairmanship Campaign, Emmanuel Inyang, pointed out that there are intelligence reports and in some sections of the media of alleged arms proliferation, drugs and importation of thugs as threats to the area council polls.
We are appealing to the security agencies to do everything humanly possible for the peace we are all enjoying to continue.
The party commends INEC for the near-perfect conduct of the Anambra governorship election, with a view to replicating same in the FCT polls.
Mr. President meant well for this country as far as the election is concerned, and I want him to stand by that. Nobody should use his office trying to do something that discredit Mr. President, and I know he will do so. Again, I want to use this opportunity to appeal to the national chairman of INEC that the integrity he has informed us he will stand by. Let him stand with it from the beginning to the end.
He enjoins party supporters to comply with all regulations set by INEC to conduct a peaceful elections in the FCT. And that concludes the countdown segment. We now rejoin Mariam for the continuation of the news.
Many thanks, Ifoma. Moving on. Trust includes everything that Allah has entrusted to mankind and instructed him or her to take care of. This was the thrust of Jumaat's sermon by the Deputy Chief Imam of the Area 8 Mosque, Ilyas Abdulmumuni. Hawa Gimba reports that the Imam dwelt on it, as this will earn Muslims the mercy of Allah.
The Chief Imam of the Area 8 Mosque, Ustaz Ilyasu Abdulmumuni, tasked Muslims to follow the tenets of Allah on trust and exhibit it in character when dealing with one another.
One, if he talks, he lies. If you make promise, he fails. And the third one, if you give him amana, trust, he betray. And if he has argument with somebody, he exaggerates. As a Muslim, you don't supposed to be lying. Whenever you are mingled with people, interacting with people, you should have a lot of truthful in your statement.
While calling on all Muslims to embrace peace and practice the religion according to the teachings of Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, the Imam further stressed the need for righteousness and true worship of Allah so as to earn his mercy. Hawagimba, NTA News.
You won't go shake your body. Instead, they make it calm down. If the farm say it's happy, you want to grow 6 packs in a day. I beg you not to pass your power. You want to show yourself, oh.
Whatever your size, find it with the new airtel data plans. Dial *141# now to get the plan that suits you. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Say, you don't get ice. I won't park my car. Take care of your father's car. Barola. I beg no verse. Now too much berekete.
A heavyweight voice and data plan. Get 600 Naira free credits plus 700% bonus on every recharge and up to 100% bonus on data plans.
You won't go shake your body. Instead, they make it calm down. If the farm say it's happy, you want to grow 6 packs in a day. I beg you not to pass your power. You want to show yourself, oh.
Whatever your size, find it with the new airtel data plans. Dial *141# now to get the plan that suits you. Airtel, the smartphone network.
You know why Fanta goes really great with snacks? Because just like Fanta, snacking is colorful. Snacking isn't formal, which means no knives and forks. You don't even need to book a table for snacking. In fact, you don't need a table at all. Snacking is comfy and playful. Snacking is a tasty treat. That's why snacking is colorful. Snack with Fanta.
And now sports. Pharaohs of Egypt beat host Cameroon 3-1 in the penalty shootout and set up for Senegal in the final of the Africa Cup of Nations as Confederation of African Football approves Abuja Stadium to host World Cup playoffs. Let's join Ahmed Abdulrazak on Sports Brief.
The newly refurbished turf of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium in Abuja has been certified as the venue for the Nigeria's 2022 FIFA World Cup playoff second tie leg against Ghana by the Confederation of Africa Football, CAF. Meanwhile, Thursday saw shattered hopes in Cameroon after the Pharaohs of Egypt booked their place for the final match of AFCON 2021 competition by ending Cameroon's race for the sixth title. Goalkeeper Mohamed Gabal pulled off spectacular save as Egypt edged Cameroon 3-1 in the penalty shootout to reach the final following a goalless draw after extra time. In the Nigeria Professional Football League, Shooting Stars beat Atlant FC 4-0 on Thursday at Lake Consalami Stadium in Ibadan. It was the diamond goal of Shooting Stars winger Rahim Nafiu that sent off Atlant FC of Owerri home in the match day 10. With sports brief, Ahmad Abdurazak, NTA News.
And that concludes the news in English. Up next is translations. Good night.
na iwo abada kwekwe ishanda yezuma wone wa gabagai wa gobagai matunu azatimbo mbabelo nanu akinzinda bado kwatune jimbai nla yeji azana mai patai nanu akinzinda onese yakubu wale sheba webe na bada wa ngai gabe no azatin sapa na iwo professor mahmud yakubu we ku lafiya wu azana mai yeji puta no azatin sapa lala no abe mbakuzo akanwa tukotunu azatimbo mbabelo no kakapye ko nen anpye gun awochi aba yele yin gaichiaga sheko yin no zankochi aba ko bedolo nu anyayi no wobe jin waga zankochi nge ya jin ya kabawen hawa jimba nwale sheba webe na bedai wagan ga sheko yi fe no majin no asalaji ya kun peje nyimo Iliasu Abdulmumuni tanya yin we jin apmache sa no wobe jin we go sheko be da ganche inaye wen ngage apmajin no ayen ngaichiai nshoko afi no akun ko be jin shoko yi wo gai yamwa manan yipie pakan yi pepepe je be jisi abo bagba wole lainu sai ko nan
masu kallon mu barkamu da yammaci ga fasalar takaitattun labarai mai karantawa Isiyaku Buhari Suleja. Domin shirin zaben ƙananan hukumomi mai zuwa a babban birnin tarayya, hukumar babban birnin tarayya ta shirya babban taro masu ruwa da tsaki a Abuja. Wakilinmu Onoze Yakubu ya rawaito mana cewa a wajen taron shugaban hukumar zaɓe mai zaman kanta na ƙasa Professor Mahmud Yakubu ya yi wa masu ruwa da tsaki na babban birnin tarayya bayanai game da shirin zaɓe mai zuwa wanda za a yi 12 ga watan Fabrairu. A hudubar da aka gudanar a masallacin Juma'a na Area 8, wakiliyarmu Hauwa Gimba ta ruwaito mana cewa naibin limamin masallacin Iliasu Abdulmumini ya tunatar da 'yan uwa musulmai game da zama masu gaskiya ga dukkan al'amuran rayuwa wanda shine hanyar samun ni'ima ga Allah. Jama'a, ƙarshen fasarar takaitattun labaran kenan, mu kwana lafiya.
Adam Magabana Mane Kiliane, a carbon Chikotako wa Nkurucha, Ahamubu, Okudilichuku, Eden. Ka họpụta gọọmenti okpuru ọchịchị dịgasị na FCT na-akpụ debe nso. Ụlọ ọrụ FCT chịkọbara ọgbakọ ndị ọnụ na-eru n'okwu n'okwe ndọrọndọrọ ọchịchị nke Abuja. Onoze Yakubu wetara anyị akụkọ kwuru na onye isi oche nke na-achịkọba nhọpụta bụ INEC Ọkammụta Mahmud Yakubu mere ka ndị ahụ gbakọrọ mata ka ụlọ ọrụ ya si akwadobe maka ya bụ nhọpụta a ga-eme ma ọnwa agba mkpụrụ abalị 12 nke afọ a. Ntụkwasị obi so n'ime ihe niile nke Allah hanyere n'aka mmadụ o kere eke ka o lekọta. Hawangimba kwuru na nke a bụ otu ọkpụrụkpụ okwu nke ozi ọma osote onye isi okpukpere nke ụlọ okpukperechi mosque dị na Area 8 bụ Ilyasu Abdulmaminu zipụtara taa mgbe a na-ekpe ekpere. O kwukwara na osote onye isi a kọwara nke a ma kwuo na nke a ga-ewedata ebere nakwa obi ebere nke Allah nye mmadụ o kere eke. Daalụ. Etu a ka a si hazie ma chịkọta ya bụ akụkọ nke uhuruchi taa. Daalụ.
Kalẹ̀ o àsìkò dédé wòyí ròyìn iléeṣẹ́ amóhùnmáwòrán ìkànnì karùn-ún ti ìlú Àbújá ní dé sí etí ìgbọ̀nyín. Mobọ́lájí Mátìnì oníròyìn. Ṣáájú ètò ìdìbò tó ń kanlẹ̀kùn lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí, ìjọba ìlú Àbújá ti ṣèpàdé pẹ̀lú àwọn tí ọ̀rọ̀ ọ̀hún kàn ní ìlú Àbújá. Alákòjọpọ̀ ìròyìn ọ̀rọ̀ Yakubu ròyìn wípé níbi ìpàdé ọ̀hún, alága àjọ tó ń rí sí ètò ìdìbò lórílẹ̀‐èdè ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Mahmood Yakub ṣe ọ̀pọ̀ àlàyé fún àwọn tí ọ̀rọ̀ ọ̀hún kàn lórí bí àjọ ọ̀hún ti gbéradì fún ètò ìdìbò ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ tí yóò wáyé ní ọjọ́ 11 oṣù tí a wà yìí. Wàásù Jímọ̀ tòní látẹnu igbákejì lèmọ́mù mọ́ṣáláṣí Jímọ̀ ẹkùn kẹjọ l'Àbújá, Ustaz Ilyasu Abdulmumuni, tọ́ka sí ìwà òtítọ́ òdodo tí Ọlọ́run ọba fi fún gbogbo ọmọ ẹ̀dá Ádámọ̀ láti lò bí ó ti yẹ àti láti dìmú gidigidi. Alákòjọpọ̀ ìròyìn Hawangimba ròyìn wípé lèmọ́mù Ilyasu mẹ́nubà pàtàkì àti àǹfààní bẹ́ẹ̀ sì ni èrè tó ń bẹ fún olúkúlùkù tó gbé ẹ̀wù ìwà òdodo wọ̀, àti wípé gbogbo mùsùlùmí tó mú ìwà ọ̀hún lókùnkúndùn yóò rí àánú Ọlọ́run ọba. A ò rí jù báyìí lọ́sẹ̀ títí ọ̀sẹ̀ tó ń bọ̀ ní àṣẹ Èdùmàrè. Ojúmọ́ ire ni yóò mọ́ wa.